Our next speaker is Eric Previn, followed by Ann Job, who will be followed by Diane Valencia.
Yes, good afternoon. It is Eric Previn from CD2, Budget Finance Committee. The LAPD does have a disproportionately high percentage of the budget of LA City, and I think folks are a little concerned about that, as we've heard today, and I have a concern as well. There's a group called the Discovery Unit that is kind of like the Public Record Act division, and I made a request after February 17th when Mr. Wesson threw Ruth Sarnoff out of the meeting, and then me and others using the LAPD under the color of authority. And I saw that Chief Beck's here today. He has consistently refused to provide the reports that were filed, in particular to me, because I certainly have never been thrown out of a meeting like that before and intend to do something about it, but I can't even get him to comply, which is a very, very serious concern. The City Attorney's Office, who is another group that you met with earlier this week, is a group that is actually taking a little bit of a haircut on their budget this year. But this is a group where if you telephone the guy who's in charge of the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, who monitors their behavior, he says on his machine that they'll give priority to email, but they don't have the staffing to respond to inquiries about illegality in whatever process. So this is another severe dysfunction, in my opinion. And yet, consistently throughout this process, the city attorney hires private firms and then conflict firms that are on a special panel, and the CEQA panel, who, to my shock and horror, is being deployed even as we speak in Studio City, California, where my group lives, to allow a developer who has been failing to pay his taxes, who's been given a sweetheart deal. His name is Richard Weintraub. It's the Sportsman's Group. And they have made it so that he can pay the city's legal bills when the city gets sued, which they have been. This is a real problem, and I would ask you, sir, because I know you're very involved, and Mr. Feuer, to undo that CEQA panel. It violates a conflict for obvious reasons, and I don't know how Mike Feuer can face himself in the morning on that. I want to talk about the body cams very briefly. Mr. Englander needs to return.
Sorry, you're out of time, sir. All right, that brings up Ann Job next, followed by Diane Valencia, and the card that I have after that just says youth. There's no name on it. So